It's a beautiful looking watch, but I'd say it's pretty thick to my liking. It fits well on the wrist. Let me see. Let me just put it on for a moment. But yeah, well, I'm a bit skinny, but if you're an adult, it would probably fit just fine.
Adult. What if you're a small adult?
Well, that's not my problem.
All right. Well, you can skill alone over there. Well, that's Joshua's take of the Zelos Hammerhead 3 bronze. It's quite unusual with this bronze, chunky, angular watch, but Zelos might be onto something here that we may be overlooking. This video is brought to you by Zelos Watches. Bronze has been making a comeback in the past years with the mass market appeal being tapped onto by marquee brands such as Tudor and Oris. This material is much more widely used in the microbrand arena, with Zelos producing many models in this metal. The Hammerhead is one of its torchbearers. There's a certain heft to bronze. With its massive case, the third generation Hammerhead requires a little muscle mass. It has become leaner through the years, coming from the 17mm thickness of the first generation Hammerheads. The large proportions thus translate to easy operation, with its significant grip coming from its oversized crown. This Seiko NH35 movement is not going to win any awards for fluid crown turns nor museum-grade finish. It just works well, lasts for decades, and it's easy to fix or even replace. Zelos does replace the date wheel to match their dials, so it's not all about cost cutting. Known for quality functionality, Zelos secures its crowns tightly and their bezels robustly. Just listen and fall in love. The bezel insert also matches the bronze case, giving a more bulky visual profile. There's no trickery happening here. These really are big proportions. You get 44mm as a diameter and 48mm of lug-to-lug distance. The lug width is 22mm, but interestingly, the strap does not have the quick-release spring bars that Zelos has been rolling out lately with their watches. The thickness is now just 13mm without the crystal, and a water resistance of 300 meters that's quite expected of Zelos. With a Seiko movement, you get the usual microbrand workhorse of 21,000 bph and 41 hours of power reserve. Let's step back and see what kind of strap options we can expect from this bronze bruiser. At 22mm, the options are plentiful, but not like the more popular 20mm. A white strap on this dark brown tone works to highlight the watch while matching the light indexes of the dial. It has a similar effect like a gold watch case on a white strap. We call this the summer configuration, and this one can hang with the best of them. If white and rubber isn't your thing, a good fabric strap can also work for this bulky beater. Throw in this NATO strap and you've got this rugged good looks with a comfort to boot. Admittedly, it increases the thickness and widens the profile of the watch, so this is best reserved for wrists over 7 inches. If you're manly enough to pull this off, a thicker strap can also be an option, like this studded aviator band. Not that you'll be turning this into a nappy timer or anything, but it sorta works. I mean, look at this thing. This could be that Thor watch to go with your Asgardian armor. Godly Helmsworth physique? Certainly optional. Let's bring it back down to earth with a simpler, more accessible strap, the Horween leather. This one, coming from the Zelos Titanium Swordfish, makes a case for vintage aesthetics as a selling point. Both Horween and bronze will age uniquely, making this configuration more personal to the owner. But out of the package, the strap mostly moves out of your attention in favor of the dial and case. The legendary loom of Zelos is ever so present in the Hammerhead, whether it's night or day. Their formula for this loom is unrivaled even by Seiko. Up close, there are a few endearing details around the case and on the dial. I've yet to see a review talk about the subtle way bronze emphasizes surface graining more than stainless steel. This certainly does that even before the patina takes over. When paired with the multifaceted case of the Hammerhead, and we have a blend of warm contrast that is a signature of this Zelos. Behind is a stainless steel case back that has a good amount of detail. But up front is the dial and the color harmony brought by this particular variant. Since the third generation of the Hammerhead, the dial has been significantly simplified. These refined elements gave the sunburst finish more room to shine while keeping the angular hands and indices intact. These are some of the fine design decisions that shows Zelos' maturity among its competitors. At this point, Zelos has locked a particular look that's been actively shaped by carefully listening to its loyal fan base. But now let's remove our fan hats for a moment and level our heads here. It's a 44mm dive watch with an unusual shape, case made of bronze, and not advertised on any mall, magazine, or bus stop bench. So, for who is this Hammerhead made for? We tend to ask this question about the product, but sometimes it's not really important to ask. Sometimes, things just needs to be made for product continuity. Every Hammerhead generation had a bronze version, much like Omega always had its Seamaster. Zelos is the only microbrand I've seen that has grown enough to release a model for the sake of updating its collection, while others are still going to Kickstarter in the hopes of funding their next model. Enthusiast cap back on, and you'll see a definitive Zelos diver now and for the next few years. Zelos Hammerhead 3 Bronze. What do you think? This is one of the most niche watches that the biggest micro brand has to offer right now. Is it a future collectible, or did Zelos made a mistake? Comment down below. You want to see other Zelos watches? Look in this review right here. But there's something about this dial, this domed crystal, that's really appealing. And yeah, not to mention that it's going to patina differently because it's my skin. Well, you know, I've seen other versions of this that's like really, really dark now. Still pretty good looking though.